So this is what's going on. Steve Boone, Mark Vogel, Steve Vogel, they had community hope, government housing, and monastery schools, of which were funded by the government. So with these, and with a cut back in personnel, no one really goes around and checks these companies. Troy Speakman, who was a court clerk and always a degenerate gambler, and Steve Vogel, degenerate gambler, and Mark Vogel, degenerate gambler, used the leverage of organizing girls for sex, and it kept perpetuating itself. So they would organize sex and then film it and have orgies and outlandish sex at Steve Boone's location, at various hotels, at casinos, and at John Wilburn casino events. John Wilburn probably didn't even realize what was going on, because they would book it, and then Rich Guzzi often would be nearby, and he'd be doing a sex show, and they would cherry pick certain people and invite them to an additional seminar or a Christina Almusa, when she was in town, event, give them free Christina Almusa tickets for real estate flipping, and then have a party, and at that party rape and molest people, all on film, and then have Troy Speakman and other people playing fake cop. And Brian Hess, who's known Troy Speakman a long time, was also involved in this, and he would use Chad Hess and Brandon Hess and Gino DeSantis and Nick Lane and Libby Lane as fake people for either medical or FBI or cops, and also Ben would use cops that he knew. Ben Rupp would be involved in this, and they would make it such a wide sting that even if you did something wrong, they would go through the motions. So if they got caught, they would go through the motions. They would have a fake sheriff or a cop show up, like Alex Rillis, who was on the take, go through the proceedings, or a fake cop like Mike Fout show up, go through the proceedings, give you a court date, and they would assign different vacant buildings as court places. Because on Broad Street, there was quite a few empty federal and state facilities that Steve Boone and Troy Speakman got keys to, and David Applebaum and Jonathan Applebaum and Anthony Uveri and Jerry Uveri and Caesar Uveri, all of mobsters, and the Grimaldis of Cleveland, and John, the bookie, and the whole casino staff at Scioto Eldorado Downs were in on it. So they would tow cars, they would seize houses, seize businesses, seize massage places, and then also they would bring the people to the Harding, Riverside, and Wexner. And at that facility, with Urban Meyer involved, they would basically put you through the Guantanamo Bay procedure and brainwash and plant a chip, because Sebastian Ebel had contacts from Germany, and they've had the chip technology, and the Wexner and the Harding and Riverside were set up all as a fraud. So at the Riverside, they would give you a CAT scan. At the Harding, they would give you prolonged sonar and Google exploratory pills, which can be moved through a laptop in your system, basically taking photographs inside of you, talking to you if they need to make you think you're possessed or haunted or traumatized, and then be consulted, and Urban Meyer and this panel of Ben Rupp and Sebastian Ebel would decide what to program you as, whether it be they want a fake cop, whether they want to have a sex slave or a secretary that would give them head and sex whenever they want, or a recruiter. And Robert G., who has a vehicle named Plate G Wagon, a black Mercedes, is involved. And he's a real estate mogul, and he had the Vanity Strip Club, and they would harass strippers and program strippers and fake trials. If someone objected, they would basically mentally institutionalize them, have a mock set of doctors, and they used my girl, whose last name is Frank, often as the lead physician at the Harding, and she didn't even work there, just to meet state requirements for who sees who. And Pam Doozer, my ex-client, who's a psychologist, she was in on this, and she's part of the sex program, and she signed in people and signed out people. And the whole DeBellis family, Peter DeBellis, Dr. Jacob DeBellis, and David DeBellis, are sex rapists and murderers. And Pam felt she didn't know what to do, and I've never been involved in this. And the whole entire town is a fraud. There's fake trials, fake fines, and Troy Speakman, who is Al Mohler, is the perpetrator and rapist and a killer of many, and they've done this in many towns and many cities. And with the COVID, it left them a great opportunity because everything was closed down. So Polk County, Florida, was totally fake, and all those arrests, fake. The death is real because they've killed them and robbed them and taken their homes, cars, and kids. The death in Polk County is real, the way it's depicted, and the crimes is totally fraud, and they've been doing it all across the country. And where David Chappelle lives, the comedian, the entire town is fake, and it's been overrun, and there's no one running the town, and they basically take everything from you. Everything. Your ID, your kids, your car. Take your organs, and you're dead, and they dump you wherever.